Hey,
Mark and Sharon here with 4x2 Travel, and welcome to our top questions about cruising.
as found on social media. Now, the questions are found, our answers are found from experience or from
Firsthand
NCL
or
or whatever,
straight from.
NCL. So,
So, what's our next
our
question?
next one. Dietary issues.
Dietary issues.
A lot of people are
So,
like,
does that mean if I'm gluten free or sugar free or all of those free things, or I'm avoiding this, or vegan or vegetarian, or.
yeah, pretty much. And so this is a bit of I don't know how to answer. There are a lot of options for food,
Yes.
and there are, when you look at the menu, there are some that are actually labeled gluten free. Now you get
And there are desserts that are labeled sugar free.
correct, and there is a huge variety of foods, and those that are also labeled vegetarian.
Right.
And I think, especially in like the Indian area cuisine, there's always some really good vegetarian options.
Right.
Now, on our one of our previous cruises, we did a 15-day transatlantic Miami to Southampton. And in our group, we connected with some other people. And there was a couple that we played dominoes and cards and shared meals with. And they were vegan.
Yes.
And would I say hardcore vegan?
Yes. Yes.
And so we witnessed their experience in doing, being able to travel and do the vegan thing.
Right.
And so, how did they handle?
I think, yeah, it's, anytime you have something that's not mainstream, and vegetarian is a lot easier to accommodate. Vegan, my understanding is no dairy, no milk, no eggs, that kind, anything that comes from animals. So they were able to find options within the buffet for the most part. It seemed like the head of the restaurant and the head chef wanted to accommodate them.
Yeah.
And were very happy to do that, even making special pancake mix for them in the morning. It seemed like as long as they pre-ordered their food for the next day, they had lots of food to eat.
Yeah.
What I heard from our friends was there were a lot more flavorful ways to prepare the food that they were preparing, and that wasn't accommodated.
Yeah.
And it seems like other cruise lines are better equipped or better accommodating, more accommodating than what they found.
And you have to realize that, they're feeding thousands of people every meal.
Right.
And who knows how many people are in that vegan category.
Right.
So it is definitely a very, very small minority that they have to prepare special meals for.
Right.
And like you said, the day before, they would say, we're going to eat at this restaurant.
Well, even then, as long as you're in one of the main restaurants, and we discussed this in a former video, if you're just by yourself, it doesn't really matter which main restaurant because they all share the same kitchen.
Right.
So what they did is while we were having dinner, they were looking at the menu for the next day and making choices and letting their waiter know, and
Right.
that was put in for them.
And they just had to let the staff know when we were seated that, hey, and sometimes
Right.
the cooking staff chef or whoever would come out and talk to them about options. And they really tried, for such a minority cruising segment, they really tried to accommodate them, although, like you said, sometimes the food wasn't as flavorful
Right.
as it could have been in
yeah.
their experience. And that just might be, they haven't had, even with all the cruises and everything else, they just haven't had the experience with vegan menus enough to.
I can't make a supposition.
Yeah.
I would say if you are vegan or have another restrictive diet and you are able to book the Haven has its own restaurant and chef, and I would think that you would have it would be a lot easier for them to accommodate you in that smaller venue.
On the ships that have a separate restaurant. Evidently, not every ship. Some of the smaller ships don't have a separate restaurant, evidently. At least that's what I learned on social media today.
We don't know if that's true because we have not verified it. If you know it's true, let us know.
Yeah. So anyway, even though they're dealing with thousands of cruisers that are already very opinionated on food, we found them to really be accommodating and try to help those with special. And one of the things, every time we sat down at any of the restaurants, one of the first things, does anybody at the table have an allergy?
Right.
Of any kind?
Right.
And so they were very mindful of those kind of dietary issues.
Yeah.
But then trying to make sure that whether vegetarian, gluten-free, sugar-free, or even vegan, that they had options for the people.
Right. And like right now, I'm in a anti-inflammatory protocol diet. I'm not sure that that diet would keep me from cruising, but I know that I could remain on an AIP diet and still be compatible. My choices are just going to be greatly limited.
Sure.
But you're talking fresh fruits and vegetables, proteins, meat if you're on AIP, not meat if you're vegan. So yes, it's very possible, I think, for whatever reason, whether it's an allergy or a preference.
Or dietary or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be, well, I mean, not just vegan or whatever. I mean, you might be trying simply to lose weight, and maybe a cruise is not the best thing for you if you want to lose weight, but it was
20 years ago. We went on our very first cruise, and I was a Weight Watchers leader, and I went on the
Well, they even had Weight Watcher meals or Weight Watcher.
No, at that time they had a collaboration with Cooking Light, and so they had Cooking Light meals, and so that was nice. But they can do it. Just know that you're going to be very limited in your options, but you probably already know that.
Yeah, but it shouldn't keep you from cruising and having a good time.
No.
So, hope you have a tasteful adventure.
Ooh, I like what you did there, and travel well.
All right.